that you just have people in all the right places to make this work. And that is what this podcast is people in all the right places to make this work.
That's it.
Hey guys, it's me, Rachel, and welcome back to the Smart Move podcast, where I give you the most information to become an educated buyer, seller, or investor. Today is a really exciting day. We are filming our last podcast episode of the year, and we thought, what a better way to celebrate than by having our media team, Ground2Air Media, join us, giving us some valuable tips on your listing photos. But then also we want to do a really fun recap of the year. We are going to sit with James, with Sean, and with Owen today, and we just really hope you enjoy this episode. So here's James. Founder, CEO, Presidente.
What an honor.
What an honor. Oh, man. Jimmy, it's good to have you here. Thanks for,
it's good to be here, yeah.
I think you wanted to be here from the get-go.
I kind of did. I was bugging you about it.
Yeah.
It feels weird to be on this side.
Isn't it funny?
Yeah, it's bright over here.
Welcome to Behind the Camera. This is the good stuff. We'll make you look good too.
Thank you. I got Sean's job.
Yeah, totally. So I'm going to go over a bit of the business stuff with you. Not super boring because you are, part of this team, but you are the founder of Ground2Air Media. How did you come up with that? Like, look at this. You started from
It started so small. That's the
right?
thing. It started so small.
Yeah.
To make a long story short, I used to fly drones with my dad. It was kind of a hobby thing. We were just flying drones as like
for fun.
He used to fly RC planes growing up. He used to build them, and then he just kind of carried the hobby over to me.
Cool.
And then this will all wrap up together, but I used to be at a golf course up the road. Yeah. So I was a member there, and there was a couple realtors that played there, and then they knew that I was like into flying drones and stuff. So like, hey, why don't you come out and get some photos of like properties? And remember, this is like 10 years ago.
Totally.
This was so long ago, like when drones were just becoming a thing.
Yeah.
No one was really getting professionals to shoot their listings.
Right.
So I went out there, did that, and then like the rest is history. It just kept growing.
And here you are.
Yeah.
With how many employees now?
There's 8 of us total.
Hokey doodles. I love it. And you know what? By the end of this year, there's going to be, I'm coming on. Hire me.
Yeah? You want to join the team?
No. I do, because you guys have so much fun.
Low key, you have bugged me a few times about joining us.
I know, but it's mostly because
Isabel
I love...
too?
Yeah, Izzy's coming too. But it's, you guys have so much fun and you can see that. And I think that's been a really cool process for us as Rachel Harsavort, but like as realtors, for me as a realtor, like having a team that has so much fun, number one, but also keeps it very professional and it's just a really good vibe.
Culture is everything.
It's
hard to keep up on. You have to put a lot of time into it.
Yeah.
And it's easy to slip away from it, but I do always try to revisit that and make sure it's like, is everybody on the team enjoying being here? Are they liking what they're doing?
Yeah.
And not just putting people into positions because we need it done. It's like, what do you want to do?
Totally.
And then putting them in that role.
Where can you thrive? You're a really good leader that way. But then you bring that out into our listings too. When you guys come on site, it's like, it's a good time. We love photo shoot day. Like it's our favorite.
We have a lot of laughs.
We do.
That,
Sometimes too much, but I mean, and then in the end we get amazing photos and videography. So
thank you.
What is something, I guess, what you guys do as the media team, we'll talk about the podcast later, but when it comes to our listings, like, why is it so important to have you guys, to have someone that is, number one, professional, but knows the inner workings of the industry and stuff? Like, why is that going to benefit my sellers?
Sure. So like the first thing, just so everyone knows, it's like what we're doing at listings is like photos, video tours, reels. Reels are really popular now.
Yeah.
Floor plans, drone. So those are the kind of things we're doing when we show up. Why is it important?
Yeah.
And it has everything to do with eyes being on the listing. Literal people's eyes. So I think the stat now is 98% of people see the house online before they see it in person.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Right.
So it has everything to do with marketing the property correctly and making a good first impression.
Right.
So first impression is everything.
Yeah.
If you're having a good first impression, you're having more people show up to the property to see it.
Yeah.
If you're having more people show up to the property to see it, you're getting more offers. And when you have more offers, you're selling the house for more and faster.
Totally.
It's a simple formula. It's like every good industry uses professional marketing for that exact reason. At the end of the day, it's to sell more, to sell higher, to sell faster.
Yeah. And I think too, with that, like I don't want to say no, I am going to say it. If your agent is using their cell phone to take photos. I was
going to say this, yeah.
Like,
fire them.
Fire them immediately. Sorry for any of you using your iPhones, but.
Yeah, like it's just a fact now that it's like if you're falling behind if you're not using a professional photographer and videographer to shoot your listings.
100%.
Your listing doesn't look good. And I think people are really waking up to that now because I'll sometimes get homeowners call me and be like, hey, I listed with a realtor and they've been a family friend, but they use like really old techniques and I want to hire you. I sort of, it's a little bit sad that they're having to reach out to me.
Yeah.
It should be the realtor because they should be keeping up with these things. Yeah. But at the end of the day, the homeowner's realizing it and they're giving me a call.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Return for them too. And I think something that you kind of pointed on there too, like it is sad, number one. But yeah, you guys are also always learning. So you're giving that to me as a realtor, to my clients in return, that you're coming up with these techniques, or you're not, maybe, because we always talk about reinventing the wheel and that's not really a thing, but you guys are always in this industry and constantly educating yourselves. I think that's huge. And that's a huge reason why I've used you guys for so many years and continue to, even though I joke about firing you every day. That's just because, but like you guys actually educate yourselves. You stay on trend. Just before this episode, were we not sitting and talking for about half an hour about content creation and like pushing ideas out there for your clients as realtors, but then in turn for our clients.
I'll say even like the real estate trends change quickly. So like reels that are done for real estate specifically, month by month they change. Yeah. And our goal is to really keep up on those and expand on them. So like it's such a fast changing industry and it's so important to keep up on it or else you just fall behind.
Yeah. But it's also important for me as a realtor to have someone like you guys, because I don't have time to do that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
like
it's our job. It's our job.
Exactly. Just like my job is to hire the professionals to help with a listing and it's not the sellers. That's why you guys are in my back pocket to be, on par or if not above in the industry.
You like really hit the nail on the head there, which is I always try to say to realtors, look at us like an extension of your team.
Yeah.
We are the marketing portion of your team.
Yeah.
So when you show up to like a listing presentation, let's say, it's, hey, I use these guys. They shoot well over 1,000 homes a year.
Totally.
And they do this day in, day out.
Yeah. And that actually, I do that in my listing presentations is I have pieces of video content, reels, photography,
hey, Rachel,
and now our podcast that, we're showing these things to my clients and pretty much off the hop. They're like, yeah, absolutely. It's worth it. You know, like, maybe it's going to be a bit more expensive in a sense, but at the end of the day, like you said,
value.
You're getting that all back and
it's
more
all
in
ROI.
your listing. Yep. I know. Return of investment. Gotta love it. What are some accomplishments you're proud of with the business? We're not going to talk podcast yet. We'll say business.
I guess without getting like financial numbers, because I don't.
No one cares about that.
Yeah.
I do when we're sitting and having lunch. Yes.
I think initially I was shocked that I could do this full time.
Yeah.
I used to actually flip houses, and I was like, I'll probably never be shooting real estate full time. Like, there's not enough need for it. And then it quickly became a full time thing, which is amazing. So that was like the first accomplishment. Yeah. And then it was getting a cool space to work out of, which is this space.
Yeah.
And then it's just been growing a team.
Yeah.
And from there, I hope to grow the team to like about a dozen people eventually. So,
well, you're well on your way.
Yeah, we're almost there already.
Yeah. And it's fun. Like, I don't know if you guys know, like James and I, because we're both business owners, we do bounce a lot of those things off of each other. And you've been a great, a bit of a great example for me as to, like you said, team culture and even just like how to grow a business, right? So that's been really, as a friend, from a friend side, like that's been really cool to like walk alongside you in that. So
hiring is scary. First person you ever hire is the scariest thing ever.
Dude, remember when I hired Isabel? Like, oh, my Lanta, right? And
we were on the phone quite a bit.
I know. I was like, what am I doing? Right? So yeah, no, I'm proud of you. Every time when you guys got this space almost a year ago, I guess, right?
It was exactly a year ago. It was in August.
Holy moly. Like, it's like you guys brings a tear to my eye. Like, I'm so proud of you. You've like, look at this thing. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So speaking of accomplishments, like, I don't know if you know, but we have like a top produced podcast. I don't know if you've heard about it.
I mean, I drive by cars and sometimes I just hear them listening to it.
Right? Yeah.
It's a popular one. Yeah.
You roll down that window. Everyone's listening to the Smart Move podcast. With that, okay. So obviously you guys have been part of the creative direction and producing this idea that I've had for a few years. And again, where I've bounced a ton of ideas off of you. Like, I think we've spent countless hours on the phone talking about how we're going to roll this thing out prior to doing it. Right. So I guess for you, I've got a lot of favorite parts of the process, but what was your favorite part of this podcast process? Because this is your first podcast that you guys have produced, right?
Yeah,
so
you were that was the idea of the space, was to actually be able to create podcasts. Probably my favorite thing was just building out this set with the help of Owen and Sean.
Yeah.
A lot went into it. Like, I mean, they don't really see. There's 3 cameras here. There's lighting. There's the whole audio setup. There's everything you've seen. There's a lot that goes into it.
Totally.
So I remember when we were first kind of creating it, we were sending you pictures of it. Yeah. Like, do you like this look? Do you like this look?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, this is what everyone sees, right?
Big time.
And there's a lot of thought that goes into it. I just don't think people realize that. But I obsess over that stuff, and I know the other guys do as well.
Absolutely. I think that was, and I do too. So I think that's been one of my favorite parts of this process, is just the attention to detail from everybody. We're all like type A personalities and it shows, right? Like a little bit anal, but it's great because look at what we've done. And something that every guest that we have had over the last 9 episodes, I guess you guys are number 10, 9 episodes, is that everyone's like, this is like legit. Like, even our last guest was like, I was scared because it looks so good.
Yeah. We even when we go and shoot other things, we hear that from people. That like, they see the big lights and stuff and they get scared because it looks too professional.
I love it.
But that's what creates this end result.
Yeah, totally. I'm like, give me all of the good lighting. What would you say? You know what? I'll ask, what's one of your favorite clips from the last?
Okay, so you had your stager on, and she was chatting. You mentioned, like, have you ever seen any things in drawers or closets?
Yes.
Funny?
There's got to be something. What have you found in closets?
Right. No, you don't want. Okay, let's just say.
Do you look in the nightstand?
Well, this is it.
And it was almost like she didn't want to give an answer because she's seen some things.
Oh, yeah.
I got to go laugh at that.
I did
Anytime
too.
I have a good chuckle, that's when I'm like I like that clip.
Man. Rachel. That was funny. I knew as I asked it, I was like, this is going to
open a box of worms.
This is going to take a turn, but it was good.
Yeah.
That was a good episode. Ala, I loved that episode. It was so great. What would you do differently for season 2, or what do you want to see for season 2? Because we're doing a season 2, whether you guys like it or not, it's happening.
We're here for it.
Yeah, we're here for it.
We need some food on this podcast.
We need food.
So what I mean by that, I think it's fun. Food is relatable. Everybody loves food, right?
I love food.
So, or it could be something to do with like drink.
Yeah.
Let's just say someone comes on here and they're like, I'm a big wine person.
Yeah.
You guys like share a glass of Chardonnay.
Yeah.
And then you talk about it. And it just like,
it's like, Chardonnay is my favorite or something.
Or it's like a food item. So it's like, if I really like pad thai, I could go to my favorite pad thai place, bring it. You do the same, and then we kind of each have some and be like, all right, which one's the best?
I love that.
Could just be a good little talking point. I don't know. Just throwing out ideas here.
No, I like ideas. This is
don't eat it on this beautiful couch.
I was going to say, Emma and Julia would probably have our heads if we ate on this couch. So
we'll put a plastic thing down.
Just like
giant bib.
Giant bibs everywhere. Okay, so food and drink. I like that. I think we can incorporate We'll leave that to the creative director.
I get to be on every episode, though.
Okay. You would. Totally. And then I guess lastly, what would you say you have had a different role in the podcast too, and I'll get probably more answer from Sean and Owen, but what would you say were the challenges along the way in...
That's a good one.
I know,
you
right?
didn't really ask me that before.
On the spot, buddy.
Maybe like I think the prep is often the hardest thing. Yeah. So it's like when it comes to actual shoot day, I think it's pretty easy. It's just you just roll with the punches and you just go right ahead.
You just go.
Yeah. It's more of like the time you have to put into just thinking about various things before the podcast is even made.
Yeah.
So again, like with this set, it's like, how do we want to match the brand.
Yeah.
We have to source getting this paper roll and all these little items.
Yeah. We did good with that though.
We did. Yeah. It matches nicely.
It is my Pantone color.
I'm telling you. Yeah.
Just in case you guys didn't know.
Just everyone's going to eyedropper it.
Yeah.
Just the preparation that goes into it is one of the challenges for sure.
But like worth it, right? Because again, that attention to detail.
I learned a lot. I'll tell you that. Big time.
Yeah.
Always learning.
Always learning. Always be learning. I love that. Jimmy.
Even like because the rest of the guys did so much of everything. Like I don't want to take much credit. And honestly, a lot of this, like Sean does all the editing.
Totally.
Owen had a lot of creative design.
Yeah, exactly.
But I knew I wanted to be there for the process because if we were to do another podcast and I'm speaking on behalf of what we're going to do, I need to know the process really well and kind of what goes into it and what's involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it was really important for me to be there.
Yeah. Well, and for you too, for even the sale portion of it, like having to sell you guys as like, hey, we also do this and look at how this worked. And absolutely.
And here's the end result,
totally. Knowing the process. So I have something that, as you guys know, I ask all of my guests for our final 2 questions. Are you ready for it?
Yes.
Okay. What's something that you are loving right now? It can be business, professional, a book. Keep it PG, James.
Jesus, that's where your mind goes. Okay, so there's a show on Netflix right now I thought was awesome. Painkiller.
Okay, is it good?
It's awesome.
Okay.
It's awesome. It's
Jeff, we're watching it tonight.
It's great. Like you will get hooked pretty quick. I think it's only 1 season. I hate when people like, you got to watch a show and it's 11 friggin' seasons. I'm like, I'm never going to start this.
No,
I'm sorry.
We'll get through like 3 seasons and then it's done. Yeah.
So I think it's 6 episodes total. Perfect. I don't even think they plan them. It's just a limited series.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Painkiller.
Then the other thing I would say is just, I don't know, golf.
Yeah, you've always loved that though.
I always loved golf. It's hard to say no to golf.
Yeah, and then hanging out with Rachel and Isabel.
Yeah,
obviously, that's number 1. Yeah. And then lastly, if you could have dinner with anybody, dead or alive, who would it be and why? Don't make me cry.
Oh, I might make you cry.
I know. Here. We're very emotional today.
So it's probably my cousin. He passed away like 10 years ago in his late 20s. But he was he had a great sense of humor and just very creative.
Okay.
And just really artsy. And I don't know. It's sometimes I think about him and just like the inspiration I draw in terms of like creativity wise.
Oh, I love that.
Makes me think of him. Yeah.
That's a good answer. Yeah. Okay. I'm not crying, but I'm tearing up a little bit. So on that note, we're going to kick James off because we've got more important people. No, I'm just joking. We've got a lot of people to talk to. There's a lot of working wheels behind all of this. So, I mean, as much as we love you, peace out, homie. We'll see you in like 2 minutes. Yay. Give a round of applause to James. Guys, I have someone very special other than just James. His name is Sean, and Sean is our project manager, coordinator, editor, all of the things extraordinaire.
Keep going.
Yeah, like where do I stop?
No, that's good.
Guys, Sean actually, if we're going to be completely honest, Sean is running the show here. You are the man.
I appreciate hearing that. That's great.
Yeah. So welcome, Sean.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. This is great.
It's kind of fun, hey? So I just finished talking to James a bit more about the business side, and then we did kind of get into the podcast, but we won't bore people with the business side. Let's talk about the fun stuff.
Yeah, this is the best day of the week for me.
This is the best day of the week. This is the best day of the year. We are our final episode of the year. Can you, 10 episodes?
I know. Thinking back to the beginning and then to now is like, I cannot believe that much time has passed, but also at the same time, I'm like, whoa.
I know.
This is 10 episodes. Pretty good.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Congratulations to you.
Yeah, thank you.
This is all you.
Like I said, we're like a world-renowned podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something like that. We're getting there.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. So in that, maybe let everybody know what your role is in this podcast where, yeah, I mean, you literally run this thing. So it's where do you stop? But yeah, what would your typical role look like in this?
Yeah, I mean, between me, yourself, and Izzy, we are the communication hub. We manage the project for what it is. But then when you guys leave, I have to put everything together and, cut the episodes and send you guys the rough cuts so that you can pick your timestamps and make the reels and stuff like that. It's that's the main part is actually the communication.
Big time.
The editing is very important, and I'm very nitpicky about it. And I know at the beginning I was starting to set like some ground rules of like how we're going to do things so that everything goes smooth. And like, you can tell me if it's been good or not.
It's been amazing.
And yeah, so it's really just managing the different pieces that go into it, because it's not as simple as just click record.
Totally.
And talking to a mic for 20 minutes. There's a lot more that goes on kind of afterwards. That's where, the magic happens is afterwards.
I was going to say, if anything more happens after the fact, right? A lot goes in prior. Absolutely. And James kind of touched on that a bit too. And for Isabel and myself, it's all that behind the scenes stuff. And then day of, we're all here. We're like, the whole team is here having a hand in this and helping each other out. Right. So, but then we all leave, clean up, and it's in your hands to create the magic.
That's it.
And I think you've done it.
I appreciate hearing that too. Like,
absolutely.
Thank you. Like, I'm glad.
I told you today, I'm blowing smoke up
We love it. We love it. Keep it coming.
Yeah, exactly. More. Yeah. What would you say your favorite part of the process is, or of the process has been? Like, we started fresh for all of us. This was new for every single one of us. So this is from start to finish kind of thing. What's your favorite process?
I don't know if I could pick one. I think the entire thing has been so new and so different to the usual day-to-day that I enjoy the whole thing. Like, we're here an hour and a bit before you guys setting up the scene. Yeah. We're shooting all day, and then we edit afterwards, and it's just like such a different routine than shooting real estate. Yeah. I love the whole thing. Yeah. The only thing that I would say kind of stands out as being not my favorite is waiting.
We don't make you wait.
I have to wait for you guys to get back to me.
Timestamps, and I know
it's fine. You're busy. We're all busy at the end of the day, so that's
actually is hilarious because, again, I mentioned we're all type A personalities working on this, which is really great because we've got this thing,
it's a science
dialed in, but it makes me howl when anyone that knows me knows how I am, but like that Sean is even worse than I am when it comes to, not worse, like better when it comes
better
to
in a worse way.
Communicating, waiting. Like, if I don't get an answer within, a minute, I'm like, what's going on? Like, that's Sean. So you think I'm bad? Try dealing with him.
I can be a pain.
Yeah. But it's for the better. It is for the better. And that's what makes this run so well, is that our communication is like dialed in.
It's working.
We've got our group chat. Every now and then I text you at like 10 p.m. with a crazy idea. And I got a response, like, even after hour, those ones, I'm sorry. I apologize. I do it to Isabel too. I need to learn boundaries a little bit.
I mean, I could just not answer too.
That's true.
Half of it's on me.
Yeah. But there is that communication, and there's that thing where, if we're wrapped up busy in, deals and whatever, then we have you reminding us like, hey guys, you actually are supposed to be posting this in a week's time. I need those reels. I need those timestamps so that I can get the reels created. Yeah. So
and I'm annoying for your benefit so that
I love it.
You get the stuff when you need it.
I wouldn't have it any other way, Sean. We bug you a lot, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
It's all in fun.
Yeah, totally. What would you say your challenges along the way would be? Other than waiting.
Honestly, like, something I'm not excellent at is designing sets. Okay. So without the team, like without Owen and James, like basically having a vision and then like putting the camera on it and sending you those test samples. Yeah. that is something I would not have been able to do on my own. Like that is something that you need. It's a whole team for this. Like
absolutely.
It takes a village to make a podcast kind of thing.
Yeah, it totally does.
That was my biggest challenge for sure. But because we have such talented people on the team, like it doesn't show.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So,
right. And that's like you said, like, whereas for Owen, and we'll, speak on that a bit when we have him on, like it is like when you have people that can kind of pick up the pieces,
fill in the gaps where you're not like the best at. And I think, our team, we do a really good job of that.
Oh, totally. Right. Yeah. And I was commending James on that, like how he has, number one, created this really good culture within the team, but like that you just have people in all the right places to make this work. And that is what this podcast is people in all the right places to make this work.
That's it.
So yeah, no, I'm so proud of what you guys have done. And like, you know what, I'm not going to lie. I'm really proud of what Isabel and I have done too, because like I sell real estate. This isn't my bag.
This isn't it.
Right?
But you're doing so well with it.
And it's been so fun. Yeah. And yeah, we're getting the feedback, and it's a slow build. Like,
it is.
Yeah, our subscribers have gone up significantly through the year and stuff like that in terms of like our YouTube subscribers, follows and whatever. And I think for that too, but it's another way of growing.
For sure. You're reaching a new audience or several new audiences really, like, especially with the shorts.
Oh,
like
my goodness,
shorts are where you're going to get.
Yeah. Remember, well, I would say that would be, I'm going to ask you, kind of what your favorite, your accomplishments, but then favorite clips. But I think one of my biggest things, and I remember us all on the group chat after this had happened, was one of our reels, one of our shorts hit like, we were at like 10K in a
short
day.
Amount of time. Yeah.
It was like a day.
Yeah.
And like we were all on like our group chat, and just that means nothing to people, but for content creators, that's huge.
That's a big deal. It means you're doing something right. It means like the thing that you're putting out, people are watching it. Yeah. Whether they like it or not is kind of another thing, because you're always going to have some sort of split. Yeah. But to get that much, traction, that was awesome.
I know. And it was so cool. Like we were all just celebrating that. I think that was like a huge win. It means, again, nothing for real estate, but in terms of content, it was huge.
It's huge.
And then we take that and we're like, okay, what was it? What were the analytics out of that made that so successful? Right. And then now we just keep trying to build and build.
Keep working on it.
Yeah. So that's been really cool. What would you say your favorite accomplishment through this? And then we'll talk about your favorite clip.
My favorite accomplishment through it would probably be just, I'm a big processes guy. Yeah. And I just created a bunch of processes here that I'm really proud of. Like, airtight, nothing gets missed. Everything comes out on time. Yeah. And I'm just really happy about that. Yeah. Because I would be extremely upset with myself if I let things get sloppy. Yeah. And
you haven't.
And I haven't.
Absolutely not. No, you've kept it together. What would you say your favorite clip from season 1? Do you have a favorite?
My favorite clip. It's so hard because I love different bits of every episode.
I know.
If I had to, the most favorite clips I think I had was just from Kathleen Black's episode, just because of the way that she speaks and the way that she spoke on this podcast was just, it feels inspiring.
Third is my absolute favorite, which are the raft builders, because the raft builders, you can put them, I always say, you can put them in a desert, you can put them in a pandemic, you can put them in the middle of the ocean with 15-foot waves, and they are going to hyper focus on what is the 0.0001% of things I could influence positively. I could bring goodwill.
Like she knows the words to say to really get you to think about yourself and what you can be doing.
Isn't that?
Without being like forceful about it. Right? She's not shoving an ideology at you. She's just like, here it is. And you can do with it what you want. And I just thought that was really powerful. Yeah. To me, it was.
Yeah. No, 100%. That was they're all, like you said, favorite in your, each episode, different things. But yeah, Kathleen, obviously she's my business coach. So of course I'm going to sing her praises that way. But yeah, her mindset and the way like that, I think is what got me hooked. That's what, made me start to work with her, was just the way that she articulates things. Yes. And it's just like, wow, I could listen to you all day.
That's how I felt.
Yeah, totally. So, I like that. What would you do differently for season 2 or, what would you like to see in season 2? I don't know.
You know what? I think James nailed it with bringing in food.
Yeah? You guys are big foodies, though.
Just because I think...
Someone get me my track pants.
You do this with other people. It feels very like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like friendly and like communal almost. But I don't know. Aside from that, I've got a couple things, but maybe we'll talk about them after.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because
we're not going to spoil it?
We won't spoil it.
Okay.
We want to keep people coming back.
I like it. That is true. I like sneak peeks, though.
Not for me.
You're so the strong silent type, Sean. Exactly. Like I said, we make fun of him a lot, but he's got good ideas too. So to kind of wrap up your portion, as you know, we ask our guests 2 final questions. So number 1, what is something that you are loving right now?
Something I'm loving right now. And I mean, I'm not super proud of this, but we got into a show recently called Below Deck. It's reality TV.
Goodness. I've heard of
it. We've watched
almost
all of it that's available. And we had to, get another subscription service just to watch this. Like the free first season on Prime Video really got us.
Yeah, so I got to do it.
They've been getting $6 a month from us on top of that just for this. So it's Below Deck. And
That's amazing.
All the variants too, like whatever. They're all the same.
It's reality television and we're loving it.
And I hate that I like it.
I love that you love it, though. It just,
right.
well, you're almost too perfect and then you go and do that.
And then there's the reality TV. There you go, guys.
He likes reality television. Oh, I love it. Okay. And last but not least, if you could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
I'm a firm believer that you shouldn't meet your heroes. So I would definitely have dinner with someone I know or knew.
Okay.
So I'd probably have dinner again with my grandpa who passed in 2017.
Yeah.
Just catch up, see how things are going. He used to come to all my hockey games and stuff, and I just haven't really,
Yeah. No, I said our last episode, I was like, grandparents.
Yeah.
I'm like, I would love to just sit and like really chat with
just
them
chat
again.
With them again.
It's funny, you don't know, like that phrase, you don't know what you've got till it's gone. Like
100%.
Sometimes, right? Like you take advantage of,
and like
of
I'm
certain
a
things.
different person now than when he passed too.
Absolutely.
And so it was like, just kind of seeing where I'm at in my life. I think that would be cool to just chat with them about, because he was a top-notch guy.
I love that. Yeah. That's so great. Good answer. Well, Sean, that's all I've got. That's all I need from you today.
That's all you need.
I don't know. I'm sure we could go on about this for forever and ever.
We could bore you forever.
I know, but we've got a time constraint.
Yeah, I'll take my leave.
Sean, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Like, not only for, sitting in front of the camera now, but literally for everything that you've done for the podcast.
Happy to do it.
Cannot wait for season 2.
I know. I'm looking forward to it as well.
Let's party. It's going to be great. So Stay tuned. And everything that you see is because of this lovely gentleman here.
Cheers.
Thanks, Sean. All right, guys, here we are with the final guest from Ground2Air Media. He's our favorite. It's Owen. We've got Owen here. Owen is our... where do I even start? You are like the creative director. You are here to give us moral support, here to make us laugh. Owen, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for all that you've done on the podcast. We are, like I said, episode 10. This is it.
Exciting.
Season 1.
Finish it off with a bang.
Right? I know. And with you. So I guess we're going to get right into it. What would you say your favorite part of this process has been?
This podcast is interesting. So kind of how I see my role in the podcast is that we have James who brought you're his client kind of thing, and you guys have been working together forever, and like enables you to work with us kind of thing. And
totally.
The whole business end kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sean is like Mr. Technical, Mr. Processes, like you said, kind of thing. And so he can like make sure everything sounds crisp, like technically, and edits it all very well and gets it all back to you guys in time and all that stuff. And he gets all that. And where I think I fit in is I try and think, it's been a big thing for me this year is just thinking about the content, like what you're actually saying, the words, the shooting stuff, knowing how they're going to end up kind of thing, thinking about the whole process kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So a lot of the time, what I'm doing is talking to you about what questions you have for the next person kind of thing, and how can we make that into a reel in the end, or like even little things like, we shoot these 3 at a time kind of thing, and by the third one, it's a long day for you. You're tired, and it's about making sure that you have that energy that you had when you walked in this morning for the last one kind of thing, and making sure that like there's a good vibe, everyone's having fun kind of thing, and it's really different to not be. I've spent a lot of time figuring out all the technical stuff kind of thing, so I can understand it. Yeah. But having this role of thinking of the creative thinking aspect. That it's like actually something that I would want to listen to, because it can look good, sound great. Yeah. But if the content's shit, then
we don't want that. I don't know if we're saying it. Oh yeah, we can. My clients love that.
Good.
Certain other things we can't say.
That's okay.
And that's where like for that, like it's, oh my goodness, you touched on all of that, where number one, for the creative, you're always, so before every episode, Owen and I are going over who the next guest is, and we're fine tuning questions. We always have kind of a set question. Yeah. But then we throw a few more in there, and we're fine tuning those questions. And Owen is the one that is, again, he's kind of looking on, the TikTok and the Instagram and
keeping up with
the times, right? Yep. And you are the one that's kind of like, no, okay, let's gear it towards this way. Here's how we want to structure that question. So again, like as we've been saying through this whole thing, there is so much more to this than just what you see here. Yeah. Like you guys behind the scenes is just a whole other realm. So it's really cool. For us, we get to see it, but
it's a lot of fun.
And too, like for the viewers, and the morale. Like I think it's funny because we joke it, but we mean it. But we always say Owen's our favorite. But it's about keeping that morale up at the end of the day. Yep. I mean, right now I'm exhausted, but I'm looking forward to the drinks we're having after this to
whatever
celebrate.
Keep going. Keep the energy up.
So no, and I want you to know that again, like we love you, but like we're just so thankful for who you are on part of this thing and what you've brought to it.
Love going to work on these days. It's a lot of fun.
I know. The set too.
Yeah, the set was my doing. Yes. James and Sean had kind of started working on some ideas and stuff like that, and talked to you about what you like. And of course, I know your branding and stuff like that. So they had kind of had one idea, and I forget what it even was at this point, but I remember kind of coming in and they'd already sent it to you and you weren't a fan kind of thing. Yeah. And I was like, I spend a lot of my time, like I said, kind of like knowing what's going on in the world, and a part of the main thing I do here is photography and stuff like that. So it's a lot of set design and stuff like that. Exactly. That's the stuff that I have been thinking about a lot. And I'd seen an idea with incorporating this pink backdrop as kind of your like centerpiece kind of thing, but also making it feel homely and friendly and all that stuff. And we played around with it, and
I love it.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
I'm super happy with how it turned out.
Me too. And I think too, it was really cool. I remember in that process. So you and Sean would kind of set everything up. You would send me test clips. Like that was a process in itself.
It was
just
a few
like
days.
Figuring this out. But then what I loved is that you paid attention to what we can actually do with the set outside of Sunroom Studios.
That's what I was gonna, and I know one of the questions, because I've been watching all of them, of what we should do next for the next season is that like I designed this set so that we can take it and move it somewhere like a hotel room at a conference or anywhere that we can get a really interesting guest and set it up there, and it still feel like the smart room. But it's not here kind of thing. And it's not even crazy to set up there kind of thing. It's only a few things.
That was like the biggest thing when you said that right from the get-go. You're like, and guess what? When we're, whipping these things out a bit more. And like you said, going to conferences and having that, like, it's right here. Yep. And it's easy enough. It's portable enough, branding. Right? So we're taking branding the smart move on the road. Yep. Right? So I love that. So what would you say you would do maybe differently for season 2, or like some ideas? So other than
I think besides going out, like even today having Jeff on and like having people that like I think the real estate stuff is really fun kind of thing, but I think part of the podcast is you and your brand and stuff like that and the people around you. Yeah. And so I think his episode was great. The people that you really get to connect with because so even if it's not like, I don't know, maybe someone like Wendy can hop on kind of thing and just
she would love that.
Talk for fun kind of thing.
Wendy, you're up.
And then we've all already kind of talked about this, but having like a first time home buyer on maybe before you, like right as they start the process and then maybe after they've been moved in for a few months kind of thing and kind of putting it all together and seeing the before and after and
a little more interactive, I think.
What questions did they have beforehand that you could answer before, like almost do your consultation on here, and then afterwards, what were the things that they were worried about that ended up being no big deal or whatever.
No, I love that. It's going to be, I'm really pumped for season 2. And I think like, after seeing what we've done with this, there's things that obviously we all want to improve on because again, we're all like that personality. Yep. We're always striving to be better. But I think we can look back and be like, that was really good. And how can we just like amp it up?
We've done it now. We've done it a few times. We know what's happening. So now
really
let's
pumped.
Add some variables.
Yeah. And to see how it evolves. Yeah. Right. And I think everyone's really excited to have it evolve and kind of see where that goes.
Yeah,
so
100%.
Maybe we'll be like on HGTV one day.
Sure.
Doubt it, but like
we can try.
It's a goal.
Of course.
It's a goal. What would you say your biggest challenges along the way would have been?
With this podcast, again, I think it's it's not so much the technical stuff. Sean really takes care of all that kind of stuff, but just making sure that like we're excited about all the guests that come in, making sure even not even just this podcast, but in general, I find that a lot of my job isn't taking the good photo or having the right lighting or whatever, but it's about making sure that when the guest comes in that they feel welcome and are they're coming in super nervous, so it's making sure they feel good. And the music's on. Yeah. You're not like you have 1,000 things going on, so making sure that you can hand some of that off to me kind of thing.
Big
and
time.
So it's a lot of like the mental like reading the room and making sure that everyone's like excited to sit down and have a good conversation.
And that can be hard, right? Yeah. Like that, especially if you have someone that's not used to being, like you said, you've got people that have never been behind it.
Yeah.
Most of our guests have never been behind a camera.
And for a reason, because that's not what they want to do.
Exactly.
Like, that's why all three of us today are all people who are like, I don't want to be in front of the camera.
No,
but
exactly. So but then once you're sitting here, and you're done, they're like, oh, wow, that was,
flies by.
So, and
I
think,
fun.
You're right. That is, what would, I guess, what's your favorite clip?
My favorite clip was probably the one with Alla, your stager, talking about the set and talking about how she gets ready for when she's staging a room and talking about how like she's not only thinking about it from does it look pretty, but how's the media going to look at it and making sure that the angles are all right.
As I'm walking through somebody's house, my brain, my mind's eye is focusing on the buyer's perspective.
Yes.
And the media's perspective. How is it going to be photographed?
Yes.
What angles are going to be shown? And then also, how is it going to be viewed as they're scrolling through those photos online?
Yeah.
That's a lot of the same stuff that I'm thinking about when we're building this kind of set or when we're thinking about questions. I'm thinking not about like, is it a good question, but like, how will that appear on social media or in the long form or whatever.
Oh, yeah, big time. Like, and that's what I mean. Like, there's so much more that goes into this. Like, it's so wild, right? Like, it's a full...
She's in a whole other industry and thinking about the exact same things that I am kind of thing was very fun.
Yeah, that is cool.
Interesting to watch.
I like that. I know. That was a great episode. I love that. I love all episodes
awesome.
I know, she's so great. Those are like, and that's one of the ones where you're like, it's really easy to talk to. And that's what I love. Like I could talk to pretty much everyone, right? But I love that. No, the episode with Alla was definitely one of our top, I would say even our top viewed. Actually, Isabel and I, our very first one, I think was our top. Was it the top viewed? I think so.
She's the best.
Isabel is the best. You're the second best.
I try.
But yeah, like those, I look back on those, Isabel and I always say like, we like those episodes because it's like you're just sitting here.
Yeah, chatting. Yeah.
Right. And, but then there's also the really informative ones that you're like, wow, I learned so much. So
you gotta do both.
You get a whole range here too. Right. So I'm excited to see what season 2 has So again, as you know, we've got 2 wrap-up questions. Maybe we'll change them for next year. Is that something we're doing different for season 2?
Change it up.
Maybe. What's something that you are loving right now, Owen? None of this reality television crap.
We had 2 TV shows already.
I know.
But I just moved in with my girlfriend.
Oh,
and so we've been
congratulations.
playing house and having people over and decorating and all that stuff and just having our own space and getting to little things like redo my office kind of thing and, you know, make it 10% better. And like, oh, last time I wish I did this. And it's like, I got to do it this time.
Okay. So you're having fun doing that.
Just, living at home.
That's cool. I like that. And then last but not least, if you could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive.
It's a hard one.
You're not allowed to make us cry again.
The obvious answer between us is Taylor Swift, of course.
Obviously.
But we've had that discussion many times.
If you guys didn't know, Owen is like, I'm the biggest fan. I would say you're like we're
right
fighting
there.
for top.
Exactly.
So it does make it a lot of fun. Whenever we're together, we always kind of joke around.
But probably actually, there's a podcast that I like to listen to by 2 guys named Colin and Samir, and it's about creator economics kind of thing. They talk about like all the stuff that we were just talking about kind of thing and like what's happening in the social media sphere and all that stuff. And it's not even, I just think that they're really also just like cool people to talk to kind of thing. And I've always enjoyed listening to them and hearing them talk to other creators and stuff like that. And so I just like to pick their brain kind of thing.
I like that. Good answer. Nice one. Podcast hosts.
They always know how to talk for hours, you know?
Right? I know. I could keep this going, but you know what? I'm tired and
Let's go get drinks.
Yeah, I'm dehydrated.
Yep.
I need a glass of wine. Let's go get hydrated. So, Owen, thank you again for everything you have done in the podcast realm with this. It's been amazing. I'm sure everyone can appreciate that and can see the energy that you bring to this, even from behind the scenes. So love you for that. And thank you for, sharing some of that with our viewers and listeners.
Of course.
Really appreciate that.
I appreciate it.
And guys, that's pretty much it for today's episode, our final episode. So we really hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for season 2. It's going to be amazing because we've got these guys. Obviously, it's going to be amazing. So
congratulations. You did it.
Congrats. Woo! That's a wrap.